In 2017, before the start of the fall semester, Harvard University's music department announced a major change to their curriculum. Instead of requiring all music majors to take music theory classes, they would now be requiring students to take Music 97A, Thinking About Music, and Music 97B, Critical Listening. Harvard justified this decision by saying they wanted to provide more opportunities for music students to pursue their specific interests within the field of music and to create a more inclusive environment for students who may not have had the opportunity to study music theory in high school. I would like to propose that other music programs follow suit and drop the requirement of music theory courses for all undergraduate music majors. This requirement may keep disadvantaged students from pursuing music careers, creating a less diverse group of music professionals. Many secondary school students do not have the opportunity to study music theory in their public high school. Lower income students may not be able to afford private music lessons, leaving them at a disadvantage when it comes to pursuing higher education music programs. Mandatory music theory classes taught in the tradition of Western classical music promote elitism and privilege. In 2016, Cesar Hidalgo, professor at MIT, collected data to learn more about diversity in different degree programs. The results were staggering. According to their data, 79.2% of music education degrees awarded in 2016 were awarded to white students. This is a gap that could potentially be closed by eliminating required music theory courses. A similar study found that only 7% of schools offered courses in music theory and composition. They also found that schools with high enrollments of students of lower socioeconomic status are least likely to offer a wide variety of music classes, and that the number of music specialists in a school was far greater for suburban schools than urban schools. By eliminating music theory as a required course, we provide opportunities for a more diverse class of music professionals. By providing courses like Thinking About Music and Critical Listening, we are giving music students the opportunity to look outside of the Western tradition to other types of music from around the world without limiting them to whatever experience they may or may not have had in high school. Too much emphasis on theory may damper creativity. Major advances in technology over the past 10 years have opened the door for an entire generation of amateur composers who can now create music with little to no music training. The digitization of music has fundamentally altered how music is made, available, accessed, and used. Almost daily, I have students approach me with new music they have created in their free time. The majority of this music is pleasing to the ear, and they have no understanding of harmony or compositional techniques. By requiring music theory, we are dampening the creativity of many aspiring musicians, educators, and composers. Even without a basic knowledge of music theory, an individual can still portray a love and appreciation of music to their listeners or students. Creativity in the arts heighten awareness of the human experience. Students who are required to study music theory have the opportunity to study other areas that involve creativity or creating a more well-rounded student. Students will have more time in their schedule to study art, dance, writing, sociology, and psychology. In addition, primary and secondary music curriculums are moving away from instruction based solely on Western classical music. World musics are now incorporated into elementary and junior high music textbooks. With emphasis placed on current world music, education majors required to take music theory classes rooted in Western classical music may be missing out on the skills and knowledge they need to teach these curriculums. It may be more difficult for music teachers to relate to and teach their students from the East with little to no understanding of the systems that make up Eastern music. While the information provided in the music theory courses may assist educators in teaching materials, it does not provide them with knowledge and skills to actually teach, nor does it provide them with resources and materials they can use in their teaching. Music theory courses should remain a requirement for all undergraduate music majors. Music theory courses provide all music majors with a strong foundation, filling any gaps in their musical knowledge and equipping them for all career paths in music. Undergraduate music theory courses cover everything from form and analysis, sight reading, composition, style and genre, and harmonic analysis. Music as a science is a foundation for musical appreciation, analysis, and composition, uniting all music degree programs. Music theory courses provide a foundation for understanding appreciation, analysis, and composition. All music major concentration areas involve appreciation, analysis, or composition to some degree. Students who may not have had the opportunity to study music theory before beginning an undergraduate program can use these courses to develop a strong foundation. Jorgensen observes of the students interviewing for admission at her university, too many, after an entire high school course in music, are unable to sing a simple melody at sight and describe its musical form. Many undergraduate music theory courses start right at the beginning with note reading. For this reason, students who did not have access to theory or courses that taught note reading in high school will have no problem catching up to their peers. Music theory courses fill gaps in student learning, helping to develop students into strong, confident musicians. For education majors specifically, it is important that all music teachers possess musical skills and knowledge to enable students to become musically literate and able to hear and make music in various ways. A strong foundation in music theory equips our future music educators to better understand the history of our music and the contributions Western classical music has made to the world. Required music theory courses also provide a stronger foundation in music technology, business, and performance majors. Literacy provides a way of recording the nuances of performance, intellectualizing music, propagating it widely and despairingly in time and space, and quickly learning new pieces of music. A common thread between all music degree programs is music theory. This common thread helps to legitimize music as an academic subject. Music theory courses connect all areas of music, from music business and technology to performance. Palmer mentions this unity within subjects as an area that other degree programs are lacking. Mandatory music theory courses provide an avenue for music majors to connect, regardless of their specific degree program, and provide a sense of unity for the department. While in theory courses, music students are all just musicians at the core, regardless of their primary instrument or course of study, studying the science of what transforms notes on a page to sounds that produce an aesthetic response in listeners. Through this connection, music theory courses also legitimize music as an academic subject. The last reason why music theory courses should be required is they provide a deeper understanding of our history and culture. Students learn why and how Western music sounds as it does. Major repertoire pieces are studied throughout music theory courses, and students understand which forms were popular when. Studying 18th and 19th century music gives students a better understanding of the music being written today, which is important for not only music education majors, but technology and business majors as well. Students better understand the repertoire they are learning in ensembles and in their private lessons when they study music theory. Knowledge of form and phrasing can help a student to better understand the emotions a composer was trying to convey when writing the piece. Western classical music is a precious heritage that links Westerners to their past, just as it links them to other world cultures. Students can still familiarize themselves with music outside the Western tradition, and they can do so through the lens of Western tradition. This can provide a context for what they're learning and a way to compare music from another culture to their own. As time moves on, new genres and forms of music are written into the music theory curriculum. For example, jazz is in the midst of becoming a classical tradition, and many of its elements have been included in the Western classical mainstream. As time moves on, we will also see other genres such as country, gospel, and rhythm and blues added in. With enough time, we may even see rap welcome to the tradition of Western classical music. As our traditions and cultural interests change, so does the Western classical tradition, and in turn, music theory courses. I hear what you're saying, that music theory courses can provide a strong foundation for all undergraduate music majors. But what I'm suggesting is that classes such as thinking about music and critical listening can provide an even stronger foundation for these undergraduates. The reality is, advances in technology have changed the way that we consume, make, and share music. So our higher education curriculum needs to change to align. And that means that the foundation of our program should change as well. One thing that's really neat that separates us from technology is that we have the ability to feel and react to music and have that aesthetic response. So we really should be focusing on that in our core foundation of our programs. As appreciators and students of music, our most important duty is to create responsible consumers and inspire people to listen to and make music. And classes such as Thinking About Music and Critical Listening can do just that. Another point you made was that music theory courses unify music majors and create a bond between them. But I'm suggesting that critical listening and thinking about music can do the exact same thing. All music majors are still taking these courses and are still meeting up early on in their careers. And they'll still get that chance to talk about different struggles that they're going through, experience these courses together, and I'm sure that a sense of unity will still be created. I know that there's also concerns that these courses will not teach students about the history and culture of Western music like music theory courses do. They do provide a great understanding of where our Western music came from, but the reality is they exclude other types of music. And I believe that we can still learn about our own history and our own culture through thinking about music and critical listening, because we'll be experiencing music from the past and the present, as well as music from other cultures, which really does help us to understand our own when we can see how it relates to other cultures, other histories, and other parts of the world. I understand that there are other ways for music majors to build a strong musical foundation, but I believe that the strongest foundation is through the Western classical tradition, as taught in music theory courses. Students learn how to read music, they learn how to write music, they learn how these forms were developed, they learn how to analyze music, not only through listening, but also through looking at written music. And that's something that students won't get if they're just relying on listening to music and spending time developing that skill. It's important that they're balanced in both and being able to look at written tradition, written music, and through listening. There may also come a time when we can't depend on technology. We won't be able to listen to music. There might be music that's lost, and we also can't depend on the oral tradition. So it's really important that music professionals know how to read music and write music, and that we keep that tradition going, because there's a lot of value there. We can only go so far with our analysis when we're listening, and studying written music helps us to gain a deeper understanding than if we were just listening. I understand that this might mean that our programs aren't open for everybody. People might be intimidated to apply because they don't have the experience in their high schools learning music theory. But one of the really awesome things about our undergraduate music theory courses is they start at the very beginning. They start with note reading and writing, and here's the lines and the spaces on a staff, and what is a staff. And so we can really easily catch up any students who may not have had the same opportunities in high school as students whose high schools offer music theory, composition, music history, things like that. So while I understand that that can be a concern, I would challenge you to consider that our music theory courses really do start at the beginning so that anybody can come into our program and be a part of it. Music theory should not remain a required part of the higher education music curriculum. Times are changing, and our program needs to reflect that. With advances in technology, the way that we write and enjoy and share music has changed immensely in the past 10 years. You no longer need to be able to actually read music or actually be able to write music to compose songs that are pleasing to the ear. So our classes need to reflect that. With required music theory courses, we're discouraging a whole diverse group of music professionals from pursuing careers in music education. Most of them may not have had access to music theory classes in high school and may be intimidated by this requirement. So by getting rid of it, we open the doors to a whole new class of music professionals. I look forward to the day when I can walk into a college classroom and see students learning about how to consume music and how to have their listeners appreciate what they've written, and not focusing so much on the nitty-gritty of here's a line and here's a space and here's how you write counterpoint. Because the reality is most of our students won't use that in their day-to-day life after they complete their undergraduate career. Music theory courses should remain a required part of the higher education music curriculum. They have been for quite some time because they provide a foundation for understanding the appreciation of music, analysis, and composition, which all degree programs use, from education to business to technology. All of those music majors will in some way encounter those 3 points in their life, even if they do not choose a career in music once they graduate. Those that participate in music theory courses gain a deeper understanding of our history and our culture, because a lot of our traditions are rooted in Western classical music. And even music that might be a mix of other cultures and other places still has been impacted by Western classical music. So it's very, very important that our students start with that, and then from there are able to develop their listening skills and are able to think critically about music and are able to gain a greater appreciation for world music and music from other cultures.